Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. If you're here for the very first time, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we've no debt, we've paid off the mortgage and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here at Brittany in northwest France. And every Sunday we share with you an aspect of our private life. Now there's something that's very dear to my heart that we're going to talk about today, and it's about how we stay fit and well and mentally fit and well throughout our winter times here. And I share with you the fact that I suffer from something called S.A.D, which is seasonally affected disorder, and let me tell you more about that. If you live in the Northern Hemisphere, if you live here in the north parts of Europe or above that, you will understand what I'm just about to say to you. Our winters may not be snowy or harsh or bitterly cold, but they are long and they are dark and they are wet. When we the clock goes back, as we say, for the autumn time, our days are extraordinarily short. As a British person, it's very normal for a British person from sort of October onwards to go to work in the dark and come home in the dark. So you don't really see any daylight. And I spent the last 7 years of my career working in a north-facing classroom, and the window faced onto a brick wall of another building. So even when I was at work, I didn't get any light. And the low light levels really can affect some people, and it affects more people than you think. And I'm going to talk about how that affects us as frugal people throughout the long winter. And I just imagine some of you who might live nearer the equator, where you have a distinct day and a distinct night. And those of you who live in places like Canada or Alaska or anywhere like northern France and above will understand what I say about the joys, the absolute joys of summer. A British summer, a northern French summer, it's light at 4 in the morning and it is light till 11 o'clock at night throughout summertime. And in the peak of summer, and in the depths of winter, we don't get any light until 9 in the morning, and by 4:30 it's dusk. 4:30, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the UK, the kids are going home in low light, dusk, and by the time the workers are going home, 5:30, it's dark. So I'm going to talk today about things that help us get through, and the things that we do that cost little or no money to really work on our health and well-being, to make sure that, we can't stop the suffering of S.A.D. It happens to some of us, but the things that we do that cost us little or no money to get us through these long, dark days with as much positivity as possible. Start by sharing some well-known research about seasonal affective disorder and how it can change people's behaviour in the wintertime. And for those of us who try to be frugal and stick to a budget and make our money go as far as we can, when the weather turns and it can get dark or cold or gloomy, actually the retailers know this, and they know it can affect you, and they really up their advertising at that time. They know that winter festivals of all sorts are coming up, and they know that you're going to be a bit loosey-goosey with your spending. So seasonal affective disorders of any kind, whether people are depressed or some people are even manic at that time of year, can lead to them not following their budget. So it's a really important time of year, if you're trying to be thrifty and frugal, to really track all of your spending. Every single time that you spend any money, that you record it in your budget book, and you review your budget all of the time. And it's something that we really believe in, that not just having a written budget, but holding ourselves and our budget to account. It doesn't affect me like that. I can become very lethargic when it's constantly dark. It can rain here and have a lack of light from sort of October until July, we can have low light levels. And the way that can affect me personally is that I can be lethargic, that I can be tired, I can procrastinate, I can put things off. So what I'm going to talk about next are all the things that we do as a couple to keep our health in check and to look after ourselves and to be aware of the fact that we have long, damp, grey winters here and we need to look after ourselves. So let's have a chat with you now about all the things that we do personally that really don't cost much money at all or no money at all to look after our health and well-being and our mental health, because we are aware of the fact that we live in the Northern Hemisphere and it can get a bit overcast and gloomy. Let's start off with the first one, is that we get outside every day, rain or shine. Rain or shine, we get outside, even if it's just a short walk. We've got a little lavoir near us and it might be just a scoot out with the dogs to the lavoir and back again in the pouring rain, and we will get out. Just adjusting myself. Oh, that was a bit painful. Right, a bit more comfortable now. So we get out every day. We get out every day as for 2 walks if we can, and we get out like we are now, and it is after lunch. So we eat lunch in the middle of the day, and then we'll go off for a walk, which aids digestion. Did you know?
Good for burping.
Good for burping. I do apologise. Anyway, it's good for digestion to get out and go for a walk after lunch. We make sure that we eat as healthily as possible. We make sure that we eat fish at least twice a week. We eat oily fish, we eat sardines, we eat mackerel, we eat salmon. You will see from our shopping haul that we find ways and means of getting fish affordably. We make sure that we've got tons of fibre and vegetables in all of our meals, that we drink mainly water, and we have a really good regular sleep pattern. Something else that's really important to us is to find the things in everyday life that bring us tons of joy and happiness, and we'll slot this bit in next. And there's a lovely modern term for this, and those are called glimmers. They're kind of like the opposites of triggers. So triggers are kind of usually things that can upset us, things that can change our mood or bring us down. Sometimes it could be something in social media or the media, or it could be something in real life. It can be something that, you didn't want to go wrong, that did go wrong. And in my case, at this time of year, it can be the weather. So those are things that can bring us down. And then glimmers are the opposite. Glimmers are those things that happen in everyday life, that just those teeny tiny moments of joy that rain down on us like little sprinkles, like little glimmers. And we'll just pop some of those glimmers in from our walk today. And that is an example of another glimmer. Things that just top up the happy tank each day, like going for a walk and being with nature. And my favourite little thing is when the ducks stick their bums in the air and they're bottom feeding. It is just so cute, and this little family of ducks swimming around.
Pop 'em up. Pop 'em up.
They're sweet. So let's go into a few more details about things that we do to look after our mental health. And one of those things is a regular exercise, an exercise that makes us puff and pant a bit. And we very kindly were given an exercise bike by a viewer of this channel who popped up in the Well Market and gave us a bike. How kind of you. And we use our exercise bike every day. We do 15 minutes each, up to 30 minutes depending on how we feel. We put it in what we call a high cog until we build up a proper sweat. Mike does lots of physical manual work every single day that puts a strain and stresses on his body, lots of bending, lots of stretching. And I do a set of exercises each day called Daily 50. So 50 body squats, 50 wall press-ups, 50 lunges, 50-second wall sit and 50-second plank. I also do a series of stretches every day. So we really take our physical exercise very, very seriously. Being early retirees, we see lots of people here who are actual retirees, and we're looking at the difference between those people who are fit and active and their health and their mental acuity and their mental well-being, and those who are inactive and who don't have a healthy lifestyle. And we're seeing two distinct sets of outcomes there, and I think we very much are choosing our outcome to live and exercise and eat and drink lots of water as healthily as we can. And we really believe that doesn't require a lot of money. Out walking now doesn't cost us a lot of money. We were given the bike, but that you can find them really cheaply secondhand on Facebook Marketplace. We bought my weights that I use for all my weighted exercises in a shop called Action, which is similar to the dollar store maybe, and my weights were like €5 each, and mine are 6 kilograms each. Actually, they are quite a weight, and they really do get me squatting. If I use them for things like weighted goblet squats and things like that, and upper body presses and so on. So we take it seriously, but it hasn't cost us a lot of money, and we really believe that putting in the effort gets us through winter, and in particular it gets me through winter without me feeling like I want to shut myself away and put a blanket over my head, because that's how seasonal affective depression or disorder can affect people. It can make people really introspective and really introverted, which we know doesn't do us a lot of good, because it's really important for us all to get outside, get the daylight, get the vitamin D. So we live where it rains a lot, where it is cold, where it is windy, and it can be really quite unpleasant to go outside. I absolutely love the winter when it's brisk, cold, frosty, bright days, and we make sure we get out as much as possible. But I think it's really important that I share with you something else that I do, which really gets me through the long, long winters here. I know some of you might be thinking winter's like it's not cold, but it is grey and it is dark and it is wet. And those of you who are familiar with the channel know that I am a quilter, and I have gone into quilting mode. It is the season for quilting. And there are 3 quilts I want to share with you at the end of this video. 2 are quilts of friends that I finished for them, and 1 is one of my own. So let's start with this one to begin with. Have you got that in shot, Michael?
All of it in shot, and I'll go back to you.
This is my friend's little quilt, and I think it's something you put on the back of a chair or on top of a table. And if you come up close then, Mike, to see the quilting, it was finished, but it really wasn't quilted. So I popped it onto my quilting frame, and I've stippled the outside of it. I've used rulers to pick out the shape of this lovely circle here. I've then put in some patterns on the inner circle, and right in here I finished it off with some stippling, and I think it is absolutely beautiful. I'm just checking. Yeah, I'll put that over here. Next one, a friend made the complete top of this, and I said to her, I will completely finish it for you. And it is, I love this. It is such fun quilt. Sorry, my love.
That's all right, babe.
Right, so this is my friend's crazy quilt, and she's made this with all of her scraps of fabric. It's so alive. I love it. So I'll show you the back of that. I backed it with a lovely flannelette sheet that I got from a thrift store. I then got it up onto my quilting frame, and I stippled it, and I then sewed on a binding for her. I love this. I did this in about a day. So I quilted it in a day, and I sat there in the evening, and then I got the binding on for her. And the last one is a quilt that I've been making pretty much all summer and didn't finish. I don't even think I can show you all of it because it's so big. So this is a string.
Show half of it, my love.
Okay. This is a string quilt. Every now and then there is a quilt that I really want to make, and this is a string quilt. And I foundation pieced it onto a 6.5 inch square of cotton backing. You sew on the first 2 strips right sides to right sides, you press them open and then sew on the others. And then I sew it into blocks of 4, and then I sew the whole lot together. I have backed this again with a vintage sheet, and I have edged this with some Moda candy stripe. And there's something I want to share with you here with lots of these fabrics. Lots of these fabrics I was given by a fellow quilter, and I'm looking at these of all the little bits of fabrics that have got all their own stories to tell of other people's leftover quilts. So I thought I would share those with you because, back up to me, because it is so important for me to be aware of my mental health and well-being. So today when I'm videoing this, it is Friday. I am off to my quilting group, my crafting group. I'm a quilter, some of them are quilters, others knit, some of them crochet, some of them sew, some of them do card making, lots of different crafts, and it's lovely. We get together and we talk about the most silly things, inane, trivial fun things. We have a giggle, we have a laugh, we have a cup of tea, we share each other's company. And it is so important, if we can get out, to look after our mental health and well-being, to keep our hands active and our minds active, and to socialise as best we can. It cost me €5, this quilting group. The money goes to a local animal charity. And the things that we make as well at the craft group, we sell at the spring fair, the autumn fair and the Christmas fair to raise money for animals in need. So it's another part of looking after our health and well-being, is being grateful of the company of others, to enjoy the company of other people, to get out and socialise, even if it's just once a week, to do some volunteering and to keep our minds and hands active. Now, I'm gonna finish with this. I am no expert on seasonal affective disorder, and I want to absolutely stress this, that in the past, I have needed medical treatment, and I've long since learned about looking after myself. So I do not want anybody to think like, oh, it's not just something that you can get out for a walk and do some exercise. Absolutely not. Some of us do and did need medical treatment to get through this. And don't feel that you need to ever, to anyone, explain to anyone, why you might feel low in the winter. But like I said to you in the video today, it's important for us who try to live frugally to be mindful of the fact that we can, if we are low, be a bit easygoing with our budget if we are not careful. And it's a very important time, like I said earlier in the video, to track our spending and keep ourselves in check. Look after yourselves, take care, thinking of all of you, especially all of us who are aware that the light is fading. And there's something I'm going to leave you with at this point, because the winter turns on the equinox. And Mike and I really look forward to the equinox. We know it is the shortest night, and from about the 22nd of December, the
longest night, shortest day.
Sorry, the longest night and the shortest day. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Thank you, Mike. That we know we are within a month of the days lengthening again. Thank you so much for watching. Massive thanks to everyone who hits a thumbs up button, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.